everyone. My name is Janica Elarde, and I am currently taking up a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. I am actually a second year regular student because I was actually from a dental school, but then I decided to shift and take up this course of mine that I actually wanted since a long time ago. It all started when I was I think I was in high school when I first realized that I have a calling for this profession, for this career, because people tend to gravitate towards me. My classmates, my friends, basically even an acquaintance or a classmate, just someone that I'm not particularly close with, they would tend to open up or soften up around me, and they would somehow tell me whatever they're struggling about and open up their vulnerabilities towards me. I was a child that had an incessant thirst for learning, particularly with the human mind. Its bizarre and mystery, and how it can significantly affect a person's behavior and personality. And it's really just a talk or a matter about passion, how dedicated I am to unraveling the mystery, the origin of a person's personality, or whatever makes up a person. And because of that, I decided to take this journey. Because why not? It's never too late, and life is not about competition. Life is not a race. And I have never been happier about my day. So let's go back to the basics. The first thing that actually awakened every psychology or every aspiring psychology would be the very definition of psychology. Psychology is actually defined by a vast number of definitions given out by articles, journalists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and scientists alike, by their own perspective to the real meaning of psychology. And we can, see the example of Robert S. Feldman. He defines psychology as the study of behavior and mental processes, whereas Gerland proposed that psychology is the scientific study of living organisms with special attention to human behavior. So what's really fascinating about everything that I've learned so far is that there's actually a thin correlation or thin line between the soul and the mind. It's actually linked to one another as believed by the Greeks. So there are actually about 10 schools of psychology that had been discussed to us. So it goes as follows: structuralism, functionalism, psychoanalysis, behaviorism, gestalt, purposivism, cognitive, biological, humanism, and lastly, associationism. There are three, or actually it's just, acronym for the objectives of psychology, which are UPC. And you know what that means? Well, surprise, it actually means to understand, to predict, and to control what? Human behavior. Yes, because that's what psychology is all about, right? It's the science of human behavior. So in structuralism by Wilhelm Wundt and Edward Titchener, they believed, or rather stated, that mental states are responsible for a man's behavior. And honestly, I speak to this as true. Why? Because how we are easily influenced by our surroundings, and whenever you are influenced by whatever situation or whatever that has occurred to you within the day, it's going to either uplift you or ruin your mood. And an example of this that was given by our professor was, whenever you watch a movie, if it's about a sad movie and somehow you could see yourself in that movie, you could relate to it, and then it's a sad movie, it's about something that is, maybe it talks about grief or breakup, of course you're going to be affected by it, and by that it's going to not exactly ruin your mood, but it's not going to uplift you either. It's really going to make you sad, and the way that you're going to perceive things later on will be in a really sad way. Another example of with this would be watching comedy show. Whenever you watch something funny, it's going to alleviate or uplift your mood. It's going to cheer you up. Therefore, you're going to encounter the day in a positive manner. And an example of this, or rather, a specific example, of this would be whether your lover or your spouse forgets or remembers the anniversary. You can probably relate to that, right? Because let's say let's say today is your anniversary, and then your lover remembers. He treats you to a special dinner, and they greet you like, "Hail, my love, happy anniversary." Of course, it's going to uplift you. It's going to really, really make you feel special and happy. Whereas if they forget about it, oh boy. If you forget about your anniversary, well, get ready for World War III. So, with everything that I have already discussed, there are actually many more that deserve recognition, that deserve the exposure, because, they also need to be brought to light because they're good information about psychology. But I just want to make this really, really short. And I want to talk about the conditioning. It was taught to us by the professor, of course, Mr. Rocha, but it really took a huge interest in me because it sounded so manipulative. I am not a manipulative person, but it would be so fun on okay, just kidding, that's not fun. It's bad, but it just opened my mind on how routines and how you condition someone or any living thing at all into something. You introduce them to a vibe, to a routine, and then suddenly stopping it's really going to take a huge toll on that person. The example of this that was given to us by the professor was courtship or training a dog. When you court someone, you introduce them to a routine, to a vibe that you're going to pick them up, you're going to take them home, you're going to go on dates with them, give them flowers, give them chocolates, serenade them, blah blah blah. And then suddenly, or little by little, you stop doing it once they answer you, which is a total bollocks, because why would you stop? You already introduced them. That's the very reason they liked you. So why would you stop? And one more thing would be the training for dogs. You condition them to thinking that, hey, I should do that because that's whenever I get a treat, right? Because you condition them that is a positive trait. That is conditioning. But nevertheless, conditioning is actually just is a stimuli reaction. It's the rather conditioned stimuli reaction to something like, I've already explained it. So to end this discussion, I would like to follow up another information or another trivia about behaviorism, which is the covert and overt human behavior. So, as from the word itself, covert means covered or cannot be seen by the naked eye. It could be digestion, it could be the respiratory system doing its work, it could be thought processes, the literal human behavior. Whereas the overt human behavior are traits, the actions that can be seen by everyone. So, without further more cheche bureche, I would like to end this. And once again, my name is Janica via Elarde. Signing off. Thank you for listening and watching.